Welcome to Let's Stay Together Talk Show. Your host, Reverend Rick McCain, along with my baby, my girl, my boo, Arthur Brendan McCain. How you doing?
I'm doing. I hear it was a beautiful day outside today.
Yeah, I didn't really get a chance to enjoy the day that much, but yeah, it is a beautiful day out there. It looks like we got everything running okay. LP, we doing okay?
Yeah, the show works this week.
So we're running okay. We had some issues. Thank Windows 10 for being satanic against us last week, for doing an update and knocking out everything that we had running. So thank you, Windows 10, for your satanic message of diversion and destruction. It's just one of those days for me. It was a wonderful day. Didn't get a chance to go outside and enjoy it, but we are back today. LP Productions is back, and so we've got everything going. He did help with getting our monitors together and stuff like that, and so I'm thankful for that. And maybe I can just sit back and relax and enjoy the show again. Yeah, I need to relax. It's one of those shows that I'm happy we're doing, but I want it to be over, so I know everything is back to normal, with no hiccups and anything like that. But how you doing, baby? Now that I didn't sit all my, crying,
Again,
cry me a river.
I'm doing very well. Like I said, didn't get to enjoy the weather today, but that's okay because it's spring now. We're gonna have some more beautiful.
Yeah,
days, so.
spring is in the air.
It
Wonderful
is.
temperatures. Hopefully we won't see.
Storming tomorrow, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
that's okay. I'd rather that than snow. LP, you doing all right, man?
Yeah, I'm doing quite all right.
All right. So we've got everybody. We got the gang back, and everything is going great. You got any shout outs before we go with the show? Any or statements or comments, condolences, anything like that?
I'm gonna start off with Stephen Bass had a birthday the other
Yeah,
day.
happy birthday to you.
Stephen. I know you
Happy
celebrate the whole month too.
birthday
And it seemed
to
like
you.
he had a good time. Beautiful gifts and everything.
Yeah.
Being sent home. So again, Ellis Teacher is saying happy birthday, Stephen.
Yep.
Keeping Tracy and her family lifted up in prayer.
Yes.
And keeping us all lifted up in prayer to stay safe out there.
Yeah. Again, we're praying for Tracy and the Brown family, and Stephen. We gotta get together with Stephen sometime, maybe next weekend or something like that, and take him out for something.
He done popped on the hey, Stephen.
So we might have to take
the
him.
Birthday girl has
Take him out.
Mary.
Okay, we're on the radio, so we're gonna take it. Okay. You see somebody on that, hey,
Yes.
nobody knows what you're talking about on the radio. So remember, it's a radio show. So, but we're gonna go on with that. You just get so excited. You see names, you just shout people out.
Can you hear me? You saying I'm not as loud as everybody else? Can you hear me? Say yes.
So he'll check on that to see if you're loud enough. You might just have to get a little bit closer to the mic, but he'll check on that. So you can start talking so he can see if he can hear you.
Okay. You want me to go straight into Christian Real?
Yeah, go ahead and talk with Christian Real.
Christian Real today is, are you tired of the last 7 words?
So for those of y'all that know, for almost 100 years now, it seems like that every time the Easter comes, Resurrection Sunday, there is a situation where they do the last 7 words of Christ. And at one point, it was just a preacher doing it, and they were preaching it. And then they decided, let's decide we're going to go ahead and make, 7 different people do one word. And it's become something that has become traditional, especially, I don't know if it happens in Caucasian churches as much as it does in African-American churches, but in African-American churches all around the world, it seems like everybody wants to do the last 7 words of Christ. And it's like, it's a ritual that happens each resurrection day. And so I was asking people, it's been doing it a lot. And so, what do you think about that? Are you tired of hearing the last 7 words of Christ? What do you got to say about that?
I'm definitely not tired of hearing the 7 last words of Jesus on the cross. Because if a lot of people don't pay attention to that. They just get into the hoopla of Easter and the Easter bunnies, not the resurrection day and the Lamb of God. This to me, I remember at Salem, they used to have, Jamel Meese used to do it with all the women, and they had a part of the last 7 words, and it was absolutely beautiful. If you're not a Bible-toting person going to church every Sunday, this is spectacular for you to know what really was said before he transition, from to save our sins and stuff. And I do want to talk about some of the last 7 words.
Yeah, and you can talk about that, but my feeling about that, here are my 7 words that I have for the 7 last words of Christ. I don't want to hear that anymore.
Wow.
That's 7. It has become so commercialized that the last 7 words of Christ that I think people are trying to commercialize it too much, as though there's nothing else that Christ said during the resurrection but those 7 last words. And I think it's gotten so commercialized that people are just trying to find special ways to do it, make it sound sensational and wonderful. And you said, well, if people don't come to church, and it's good for them to know that, well, if they don't come to church but one day, I don't think they're going to really remember the 7 last words of Christ after that. I have gotten to the point where let's stop commercializing these last 7 words and really understand what the resurrection of Christ is without trying to commercialize the last 7 words, like dun, 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 the last 7 words. And I don't have anything against the last 7 words. I just think that now churches have taken it and commercialized it too much to where they're trying to draw people in just based on how great someone can do those last 7 words. And to me, the Bible speaks for itself. You don't have to go through any commercialism or sensationalism with it. So I've got to say my last 7 words, I don't want to hear that anymore. Do something different. Can we, what are we going to do, with the last 7 words how many times can you preach the last 7 words? And the only thing I like seeing annually is the 10 Commandments. That's the only thing I want to see annually. But I don't want to get to a point where people seem to be commercializing that to a point where it's just, I want to see if I can do it better than I did before or someone else did it. And it just seemed like it's getting to that point where it's kind of getting a little, blasé, or, just pushing the envelope too much. Do something different than the last 7 words.
I must admit, I love that. That's my all-time favorite movie, 10 Commandments. Go watch it every year. It's a tradition in the McCain household. It's a long 4 hours, but it's great because you pick up something new every time you watch it. But I am one, I guess, because of the women that did it, and our First Lady had her part in it every year as Salem, too. Reverend Dr. Alexis Felder, she had one of her 7 words. But for those who don't know what the last 7 words mean or are, I just want to run through a little list with it because it can be commercialized. But one thing I can say, when the women did it, they switched it up. And I was going there for years seeing it. They switched it up and made it resonated with today's world, and they put it in there.
So now make it gender specific. When the women did it, it's not women or men. It's just the fact that I
pay more attention to it when the women.
Oh wow! Well, there you go. That's a very religious answer.
Well, it's my truth.
Okay.
But the first word was Father. Forgive them, for they do not know what they do. Luke 23:34. Always heard that growing up. Skirted right past me, didn't pay attention till I got older and really got into the word. The second word was truly I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise. Just gonna do one more, not all of them.
Okay, but so the second word was truly, or that whole sentence?
Truly I say to you.
Okay, so that's the second word. It's a combination of word. Right. Is the second word.
The way I was taught.
All right, go ahead.
The last 7 words was like the last true sentences
Okay.
of him.
All right.
The third word was Jesus said to his mother, "Woman, this is your son." Then he said to the disciple, "This is your mother." That's John 19:26 through 27. Now, it's four more. I don't want to take up the time.
You could say the fourth. You know, you're not going to give it a dissertation of what it means.
Okay, the fourth word, my God, why have you forsaken me? Matthew 27:46 and Mark 15:34. Like I said, with these, just hearing it broke down like that, and like I said, I resonated with the women doing and how they related it to everyday application and what it really meant with the music. And sometimes we had the secular music behind it, but the way they put that together, it intrigued me to want to hear it every year versus what I grew up in my home church going to service that night, and it's like, this is boring as heck. They just read it and didn't put nothing behind it. So if I kept, hearing that, I've been like, yes, I'm tired of, but I guess I'm stemming off from my memories of, I think everybody, if they had a chance and they're a Christian, should bask in that.
Well, I know, Stephen, you said that you're Catholic, and so I don't think Caucasian churches do this that much, especially the Catholic Church. And he was saying they do the Passion as a congregation, but it's so long. So basically, I'm sure Stephen is saying, gosh, when they do this all the time, it takes up a long time. I think that sometimes you can lose a person with certain things. Now, what happens is Christian people that go to the church pretty much enjoy that because, they're looking for that, that great word. But I think that it is getting to be too commercialized to a point where, now we got, you got 7 women doing it. Oh, we got 7 women doing it. So it's more about the women than the word. So the word doesn't matter because it's the women that's preaching the word. But it's like it's commercializing something that doesn't need to be commercialized. It can stand on its own without it being so sensationalized. And I just think that we do that sometimes. We will take something and we will sensationalize it so much because we're trying to get an audience to hear us instead of letting the word speak for itself. I'd rather for the word to reach one person than sensationalize it because you're trying to reach 10,000,
Yeah, it's so many different ways with this, but I'm looking at, and I go back to my former church with it because, like Stephen said, it's long. When I was growing up, it was like each person got up there and spoke forever, and I didn't get anything out of it. But I do know from the former church, and yes, it was women, gaining this because she had much of, to me, as a strong appeal to women. We know women are like 80% of the church. If nothing else, that time we invited people to come to hear the last word because we know New Year's Day, Easter, and Mother's Day are the 3 top holidays to get people there. And this was the extra bonus. But I do remember so many people joining after hearing that. And the thing was, it was, commercialized and everything. But it spoke to the people to get them.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. If somebody's getting up there and you got 7 people doing the 7 last words of Christ and you're spending about 30, 40 minutes a piece.
Oh, they only have
that's
15 minutes.
That's longer than, they don't take just 15 minutes. I'm sure they don't.
It was only one cute
Okay,
one
I'm
we
just saying,
know
I'm
who
sure.
didn't.
I don't know any preacher who has stayed at a 15-minute clip.
I'm talking about the female.
I don't care. It does. If they get going, you can't tell me that. I know a couple of female preachers that if they start going,
It was
15
only one
minutes,
we remember.
15 minutes, and
highlight.
you're talking about one day. Okay, so I'm just saying that this thing becomes to a point of a sensationalizing. Now you're trying to protect it as though it saves people. I'm not saying that that's not true, and it might. But what I'm saying is that it's come to a point where it seems like it's getting commercialized to a point that, it's like a buildup. Easter's coming. We get a chance to speak the last, 7 words, and we're going to have this person do it where she did this word the last time. I'm having to do this word the last time. And now they got to say something different than what they said about the word before, because I don't want to have the same thing that I said last year, because if it's the same thing I said last year, it's not going to resonate as much as it does this year. And it's not going to bring people to the church as much as this year. And the Bible says, don't add or subtract to the word of God. So that word that you spoke last year, if it was good enough last year, it should be good enough this year. It shouldn't have to be changed and twisted around different ways to get somebody to. And I understand all that people want to do that. But my thing is, I believe it has become commercialized to its more of trying to see who can do it the best.
Yeah, it's like everything. It is a competition. I hate to say that, but it gets to that point. But
no, you said like everything in the church. Preaching should never be a competition.
But is that the way
there are people who compete with each other, but then you're diluting the word of God. The word has no competition. It stands alone. And so if that word is powerful and you're speaking the word of God, it's going to draw people regardless. I never want to see myself in competition. I could say, remember we was at Salem and people saying, me and Pam are, like 1 and 2 together. I'm like, but when Pam was preaching that day, Pam was number 1. When I was preaching that day, I was number 1. There was no competition between me and Pam. But I know what they meant. But I'm just saying, when we get to the point where we're competing with each other, then the word is not standing on its own. And that's the problem that I have sometimes with churches, is that I don't want to hear this preacher because they don't move me like that other preacher does. What does the word do? Whatever that word is saying, it should move you regardless to who's preaching. So yeah, we sensationalize and commercialize and put some people on top of each other. But when you take something like the 7 last words of Christ, and then you make it seem like it's something that we're going to do everything we can to draw people to Christ based on these 7 last words.
But isn't that a tradition, though, on Good Friday? What would you have to do on Good Friday? The church.
Just talk about the resurrection. It doesn't have to be the 7 last words. Every resurrection. Because at that point, you're starting to sensationalize it or commercialize it to a point where you want to find out who can come up there and do I love this the 7 last words, but when she did her part, that one really moved me. Well, now it's not the last 7 words, it's that word. And now you got 7 people competing with it, and it just takes away from the validity of the word. So for me, I would prefer that we take a break on the 7 last words and preach the resurrection of Christ, what that means in its totality, and not draw it down to 7 last words.
You see that?
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Evelyn says, speak, Reverend McKay. Speak. Do you agree with that, Evelyn? And Evelyn, she must agree with that. Anyway, I say this. I love the last 7 words on Good Friday. It's, whatever gets somebody to read the Bible. I remember going to certain Bible studies. If my Bible used to be written up real bad, just scripted up. But if the service was good, the sermon was good, the Bible teaching was good, Brenda wrote all up in that Bible. And it got to a point, me and one of my good friends who always attended church together, I knew when a pastor is recycling a sermon, and that made me mad, but I was also happy that I was one that always wrote into my Bible. And it's like, wait a minute, it's the same sermon that they preached such and such time, and they didn't even change it up. That's why, like I said, not pro-women, but with the last 7 words, I do know when the women put it on as solemn, it was phenomenal, and it made me want to read my Bible more. That's what I love about certain things, that if it's good teaching to me, I come home, Google, come home, read scriptures, continue, what I learned from church that day.
And I'm not going to let Brenda have this last word on this because it makes it seem like this is what I like. Great, you like it. You like it, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the commercialization of scripture. And we've gotten to the point where these 7 words have been commercialized so much that they use it just because they're trying to draw people to their church, not draw people to Christ.
Well, isn't that the same with Easter? Let me say what I was going to say. That's the same as how just over the past 5 years it became Resurrection Sunday. Easter was always commercialized.
Well, Easter is a totally different thing. That's talking about the bunny rabbit. Churches call it Resurrection Day. They've always called it Resurrection Day.
Nah, it seems like that only got popular the last few years.
It's always been Resurrection Day. Easter is what we do as citizens of the United States. We're going to call it Easter because we don't want to have it set down to this religious holiday, because Good Friday was the resurrection of Jesus Christ. But I'm not going to stay on that long. Of course, UPS comes at the time that I'm supposed to be.
Got it with no problem.
Well, he has to come back, and I got to help him put it on there. So what I'm going to do, I want Little Philip to go play the music because I don't want Brenda having last word on this, because you ain't going to sit there and tell my thought was we should do it. Bam, I'm done. I won. It's not about that. Okay.
You got your opinion.
And it ain't got nothing to do about that. It's like, I think that they need to stop commercializing anything that has to do with the word of God. So I'm going to let Little Philip play some music, and then I got to go help these UPS people who were supposed to come over here 4 hours ago, and I'll be right back.
All right. Give me 1 second.
Well, this is the time I talk about my little crazy topics, right?
Yeah, go for it.
Tell me when I can.
You're all good. Go for it.
Okay, everybody. Rick's handling some business, and Evelyn said Easter is a pagan holiday. Yeah, sometimes, yeah, it is a pagan holiday, and that's what the commercialization of that and how they turn that into the money-making thing, just like with Christmas. It's like, ooh. And then, wait a minute. Please don't take away my Easter Reese's peanut butter eggs. I am okay with with that Easter commercialism. Okay, Stephen, we're going to make sure you keep your Easter Reese's peanut butter egg. Is that the commercial? It'd be the, who is it? Is it a lion? Just like the bunny rabbit chewing, going meow, 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 meow. Okay. So I'm assuming that's a commercial. But anyway, one topic that I'm going to talk about here that really tickled me was angry woman shoots Burger King employees through drive-through window over her wait time. Now, I know that sometimes these people, when you drive up, they slow. And they always tell you to pull it to the side and give us a few minutes to get your order together. But is it that serious, no matter how long you was waiting? Y'all see this lady that you get out of your car. The people who are on Facebook, we have a picture of the lady coming to the drive-through window, getting out the car and pulling the gun on the people. Now, how crazy is that? I don't care if you waited 10 extra minutes. You should not be pulling a gun out to shoot the employee.
Well, let me just say this, and LP may know something about this. Here's my thing. People tired of waiting in line all the time. LP was talking about, they got this little thing where you got a certain minutes to come in there to get your food and stuff like that, or they'll get upset about that. But this person got tired of being in line. Serve me my food fast is what they were saying. I'm not condoning what she did. It's ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. I'm out of breath running around trying to help UPS people. It was totally ridiculous. But frustrations happen. But I mean, this girl. I mean, she's been frustrated about something much longer than that.
Yeah.
This is crazy that you're gonna go and it wasn't her car that was there. She was behind some cars, and then walked past those cars to the thing, arguing with them with the gun in her hand. So she already had a purpose in mind to shoot at somebody with the gun. That person has a mental problem right there. I mean, and it's sad, that, I don't like waiting in lines long either. Me and LP went to go get something one time from McDonald's, and we like, it's pitch black over there, and we waiting like, okay, it's like we've been here 15 minutes. Are they moving the line? So we left. We didn't shoot nobody. We didn't curse nobody out. We just left.
Well,
So this girl here, she needs, I was going to say, Dr. Phil, but get a little better than Dr. Phil.
oh Lord.
You
Okay.
know.
Miss Mary Silla said, the world is crazy. Hey, Chris Bays said
The
the
bass!
world is crazy. And yes, it is, Miss Mary. Now, Mr. Best said, I know COVID is making everyone crazy, but no fast food employee should have a gun in their face. I hope the end of the story is that woman was arrested. They haven't found her yet, right?
I don't know. You got the papers.
They haven't found her yet from my paper.
I know. And
oh.
LP's always looking for something. He'll find out if they found it or not.
And, she agreed. Mary agrees with Stephen. It is crazy, though. I mean, she literally is through the window. I never seen
Yeah, I
nobody
if you
get
look at the
up
video,
that
you can see
close.
she's shooting through the window.
That's so sad.
Why does that look like little Philip up there? I'm joking.
Okay. Wait,
Like,
a minute.
wait a minute. Don't that look like little Philip? Little Philip, what you doing?
And I was trying to give him a compliment last time. Remember, you done put him from equalizer to being a bank robber,
Yeah.
a fast food robber.
I mean,
I'm
that
wow.
he's got to make the picture bigger now.
It's like, that is not me.
I mean, and then she must have looked up there and saw the camera, and she got to look on her face
Oh,
like,
she sure
she's
do.
got to look on her face like, oh God, they caught me on the camera. That's the look she got on her
away.
face.
That's what got me.
Well, I
got
mean, she
away.
got away for now. I can guarantee you with that picture right there, they'll find out who she is. They'll definitely find out who she is. We'll be hearing about that soon.
But that's really sad, though. And wait a minute, where was this? Was this in Memphis? This was in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm like, oh my God, you got to be very careful. And I'm teasing Miss Eveline on that one. Those Memphis people robbing people not robbing, trying to kill people. Another story. But this actress, which we all remember, Lisa Ray McCoy, she is getting feedback, backlash off of what a remark a person said that's on the radio. The actress previously enraged people with her opinion on Rob Letterman's remarks in which he compared black women's skin tone to toaster settings. In the episode of the TV show Cocktails with Queens. People are mad at her because she, it's like, well, really, that is his opinion of what he thinks. This is a Caucasian man, and that's, how he feels. And a lot of them say, well, who they would date, their color complexion have to be a certain way. It could only go up to a Halle Berry complexion, but not a Serena Williams complexion. Okay, a lot of people say, well, that's colorism.
So as you tell the whole story again, are you
There's a lot to
is
it,
it
but
you
go
gonna
ahead.
you gonna ask me anything or would I have any comments?
Do you think that she should have got backlash for her statement, which is kind of hard.
Which is her statement. She's defending his statement. That's all.
Right. She kind of defending him, but she's not defending him.
Well, you know what? I mean, I think this may have been an analogy gone wrong, possibly. This person is trying to make an analogy with something, and this, this culture that we live in now, anything you say can be construed the wrong way. I don't know if the guys are racist or not. I mean, we do look at different colors of individuals, especially if they're people of color. People have their preferences of what they want to look at, and maybe Lisa Ray was saying, I'm defending him because I know this individual and he wasn't trying to be racist with the statement.
She don't know.
I don't know what I would say about what he said, other than maybe that it was a analogy gone bad, and people don't like that. Toaster settings. I mean, because a toaster setting does have a lighter. It has a light, a medium, a dark, and he was basically saying, I might like the light toast more than I like the dark toast. I like light toast more than I like dark toast too, but I'm talking about toast. But I can understand that. Hey, I don't want to jump on the man because I don't really know his intentions.
Okay, two things I want to say about this. Miss Lisa Ray said before we read Stephen's comment, said that she says it all the time. I always say I either want to get a latte or I say I want a caramel latte or a mocha in reference of her taste of men from light to dark. And it really isn't no big deal when we do it, I guess. But when someone that's not African American put a kind of tone on it and a face to a complexion, it sort of seemed like it's colorism. Now, Mr. Best said Holly Berry commented on this story on her social media, and the radio personality ended up being fired over his tone deaf conversation a few days later.
And, you know, like I said, some people might know a little bit more about it. He got fired over it, so obviously they felt. I think that there must have been some other issues they must have had with this guy too, and that was one of the reasons why they fired him too. And this is just, you know, maybe the straw that broke the camel's back. I think in some cases we do get to a point where we think white people are not supposed to have any kind of comments about black people's skins of color, and I think that's wrong. I mean, if you're you're a white person, if you're talking about dating someone, and you say, well, you know, I like a lighter skinned African American more than I do a dark skin, that's your preference. I mean,
Right, and everybody entitled to their
you know, if I knew more about the story, I'm gonna do LP's thing. I can't remember what he said. I don't have enough context on this, and so since I don't have enough context on this, I'm gonna kind of bypass on it and just let everybody else have a comment on it.
Okay, well, how about the
You got any comments, ma'am?
Nope.
You know, you always.
you have a preference?
Not really.
Okay, see, but when we say it,
answer.
I mean, now when I was younger, mine used to be from light to white. You know.
wow, you was one of those.
I mean, I just like light-skinned girls, you know. Now, the most beautifulest woman to me is a very beautiful dark-skinned woman. I mean, that is just beautiful. But I believe I've seen beauty in all shades. I mean, you know, when I was younger, you know, naive, like, I want a light-skinned girl, you know. Now it's like, you know, hey, I just want somebody that's gonna love me.
I don't think I really ever dated lights. I don't know. I don't have a color preference of anything, but when I look back over my past of dating, it's always been my complexion to darker.
Okay.
You know,
25
so.
seconds.
Oh, we ain't going to the next story. So, hey, everybody, welcome back. We're going to talk maybe about something when we get on the air. Grab one story that we can probably just real quick talk about on the air. And
Burger King thing.
The Burger King thing. Yeah, we can talk about that and talk about Little Miss Burger King.
4, 3, 2. Guys are back.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Let's Stay Together Talk Show. Your host, Reverend Rick McCain, along with my baby, my girl, my boo, Alta Brenda McCain. I should say Reverend and USP assistant, Rick McCain.
UPS?
UPS. What did I say? USP? I can't say nothing right, can I? UPS person to helping them to get this package taken. But baby, we were talking about some things on Facebook. If you haven't joined us yet on SOAR Radio, 2-time Stellar Award winners for Best Internet Station of the Year. And soon to be coming in 2022, we're going to have the SOAR Awards are coming back again. Justin is already putting out some tidbits about who's going to be in the SOAR Awards. So you got to go to soarradio.org or .com, or you can go to SOAR Assembly to find out some information about where you can get tickets. It may seem like it's a long time away, but I'm going to guarantee you those tickets are going to go fast. So SOAR Radio, the SOAR Radio Awards 2022 is coming up. You need to check that out. So, baby, what we got for our, we're talking about on the radio. Again, let me just say this real quick. Sorry. If you listen to us on SOAR Radio, come to Facebook, go to Let's Stay Together Talk, and check us out.
What we was talking about off the radio, for those who missed this, it was a lady that pulled out a gun at a Burger King in Memphis, Tennessee. She was too tired of waiting. She wasn't even at the car, drive up at the window, got out of her car, walked up to the window, and pulled that gun out and started firing, shooting, and people fled out the back door. I mean, what is the world coming to, Rick?
So, what restaurant was she at? Did it say?
Burger King.
Burger King. I mean, I think what the woman was saying, and Burger King is at fault on this. It just made me think about it. They tell her, have it your way, and she didn't get it her way. And so she got mad and brought a gun. I mean, hold the pickles, hold the lettuce, special orders won't upset us. All we do is ask that you serve it your way. So she wanted it her way and she didn't get it. And so she went in her car, which she already had, her little pistol, and she went there saying, hey, y'all didn't let me have it my way. This is absolutely crazy.
Well, you flipped her. She did have it her way.
No, she didn't.
She got out that car. She did it
She
her
didn't have
way
the
with
food her
gun.
way. So she took it her way. And this is crazy. I mean, it's people. Lou Ross used to sing the song, "What's the matter with the world? Has the world gone mad? Nothing's wrong with the world, just the people that's in it." This is just crazy how people are. You're gonna take a gun out because you're waiting too long and start shooting in the store.
Some people are very impatient.
Yeah, well,
It could
that's
have been
yeah.
5 minutes.
That's very impatient
But
for
see,
sure.
what it is, that lady had a build up, like you said, of something else, and that just tipped her over the edge.
You need one of those old grandmas, baby, that's just wrong. Baby, put the gun away, baby. One of those old grandmas you just look at each other, and the grandma, and grandma, that grandma look to just stop you. I was going to shoot him, but grandma said, put it away.
And they'll tell
one of those
you-
old, baby, you need Jesus, baby. Just put it away.
And
Come,
they'll tell
come to my
you-
church and hear the 7 last words.
But she the grandma that drove the car like Medea into the fast food
No,
restaurant.
we this ain't the grandma that did that, but it's crazy that happened. Hey, before we go on, for those of you all, I'm going to be giving some tickets away from the Mandela. We got some tickets to Mandela at the Illinois Holocaust Museum. So let me read this out. Don't miss Mandela's Struggle for Freedom, a captivating exhibit now open in Illinois Holocaust Museum. See the replica of Mandela's Robben Island jail cell. Make a poster, make a protest poster, and read secret messages as you explore the role of South Africa anti-apartheid movement and Mandela's rise from prisoner to president. I always love that. Kids, tell you right now, you're going to get to the 11th of April. Kids and students visit free during spring break, which is between March 25th through April the 11th. Reserve your tickets at i-l-holocaustmuseum.org. That's i-l-holocaustmuseum.org. If you're interested in winning some free tickets, I just want you to be on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch and just say, I want some Mandela tickets. If you do that right now, the first 5 people that get out there and say, I want some Mandela tickets, we will give you the tickets. So, baby, what do we get right now let's talk about it.
I'm Only Human. Ooh, that was a good song. The Price of Life. This is interesting. How
Yeah.
did you come about
Well,
this
I came
title?
about this. I was looking at something on television on one of the shows I was looking at, and they were talking about how much it would cost for a person to get a surgery. And the person didn't want to do the surgery because they didn't have the money. And it made me think, like, my God, we don't think about humanity anymore. About people and keeping people alive. We're only concerned about more about money or what we can get from something. This person was, needed cancer and needed, some help with a surgery, and it was going to cost way too much money. Her insurance is not going to pay for it, and the hospital is, letting her know that we may not be able to do the surgery because you don't have the financial wherewithal to pay for the surgery. And so, it made me think of that song with Boy George, I'm Only Human, and it makes me think that we don't have the care for humanity anymore. This world does not have any system set aside where our taxes will pay for people who literally don't have the money to survive and live.
This was a heavy topic. Care without coverage. Too little, too late.
So
The
you didn't
thing
change
is-
the subject, huh?
No, I'm just thinking about
Okay.
this. It's like if you don't have insurance, you SOL. If you do have insurance, okay, you get in, get out with the quickness, do whatever you have to do. But as the former president wanted to keep that, as richer get rich, poor get poor, it's no medium. But of course, the poor and the medium income families, we pay 4 times as much for insurance if we don't have insurance. And it's so sad. It always makes me think about how a celebrity could go in a restaurant and eat free, and you, me, and little Philip going in there. It's like, well, my God, he super rich. Why he don't have to pay? Because they keep it on a certain level like that. Now, 50% more, they say, of people who don't have insurance, we would die. Well, no, because we got insurance. They would die faster than the other people with insurance. And America is kind of lacking behind in other countries who sort of got a fix on this. Whereas with ours, it's more of the healthcare system is not trying to change it. They thought that since Medicaid and Medicare came out, that helps the elderly. That little group that I don't know which one is Medicaid for the elderly. They figure
Medicaid and Medicare.
we set that aside for them. But for people who are young without insurance, they don't care. People who are our age they just don't care.
But society as a whole, I'm talking about the United States, we set aside, we tax for so many things, but yet look at right now, people are trying to get this, COVID vaccination. I mean, the way it's taken care of in the United States is just atrocious. Because, most of the people can't even get it. And they're constantly saying, well, some people don't want to take it. Well, there's a lot of people that do want to take it, but they can't even get to the thing. How it's being disseminated to different states is not uniform or universal in any way. And there are people who are dying. We've had over 500,000 people dying because it's been misappropriated and mishandled, especially by Trump. Let's not forget, I don't care what Trumpettes would think. Trump, even though he brought this thing to a fast pace when we finally got the vaccination and really moved it fast, his lack of taking care of it before then, there were almost between 250 and 300,000 deaths before this even occurred, before we even got the vaccination there. But I'm just saying, we don't seem to care about humanity. When we do have something, we want to charge the highest price possible. This is what the drug places want to charge, the highest price possible. When AIDS came out, the price that they wanted to charge people to get to be cured. I mean, this is just ridiculous how we're more concerned about money. And the song says, "It's all about the money and the damn thing funny." But we have a society where if a person can't pay for something, if a person can't get something, they're SOL. I mean, they're out of luck. They're not going to be able to get anything. How do we live in a society where, biblically, the Bible talks about taking care of each other, looking out for your brother, giving to your brother, give unto others. We talk about that all the time biblically, but in our society, in our government, it's all about who can get the most.
Yeah.
And it's sad that we are not set up in our government where some of our taxes doesn't go to people that we know that can't afford it. I don't want to see, I love that we're giving money to schools and stuff like that. But if there's a lady who's about to die because she can't get a surgery because it costs too much and she financially can't afford it, then my taxes, if we know that this person cannot get that, should help her live. Not say, well, she should have lived a better life. Really? Where's the humanity? That's why I'm only human. Where has the humanity of caring for each other gone?
It's gone out the window. Another comment was insurance companies run the medical industry. Yep. And it is a sad fact that they do run it. And it's this little cycle has been going on for the longest because it's money out there that could help this, and they not allocating it to the right people, organizations that can do this. It's more of, like you said, the insurance company. We know people who are uninsured. Like some people say, go to Stroger, go to Cook County. You're not getting anything free. You paying something, and if you don't have insurance, you paying out of pocket. They said 3 to 4 times more than a person paying a copay, which is crazy to me. You know, I don't have the money for it, but if I have to be waited on, I gotta at least have $100. That's what he said. What is it? Don't go to the emergency room.
Right, yeah.
You know, it's like
I went to the emergency room because I had an arm hurt. They took a COVID test of my back, and they want to charge me $2,000. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not paying you no $2,000 for taking. I went there because my arm was hurting. I take the X-ray over to my doctor, and he's like, Rick, what is this? I'm like, it's the X-ray. So they took an X-ray of your back, and I was saying to him, I was wondering why the woman had me turned around to my back up against the wall, and I'm like, are you getting my arm? And she said, yeah. The only thing she took was my chest, and I'm like, it's like so they could make some money. I walked out of there, my arm still hurt, and they gave me some kind of a pain, muscle relaxer, which didn't do anything until I went to my doctor, and he said, hey, I'll give you this, and it worked like a charm. But it's like, it's all about making money. It's whatever I can make money off of somebody. It's not about saving lives anymore. It's the medical society has become more driven by money and how much they can make off of what they create than saving a life. And when we sit there and people are dying now, I still believe that Cook County Hospital, is free. You get free medical assistance, but I don't know if you can get free surgery. I don't know about that. But we at a point now where we don't even want to put aside money to help people live. I mean, really? I mean, I would love my taxes to go to having someone live.
But you know what that really is all about. And somebody might get mad, but it's the colorism thing. The most people who don't have their insurance are African Americans and Hispanics. So there are people of other color. They don't have the insurance, are more likely to die faster prematurely because they don't have insurance to get the preventive services that's needed. Like if you have the hypertension, the high blood pressure, the cancer, or anything.
And that's more like a misnomer because they go this by percentages. Every time you hear something, they want to put percentages, because there are percentage-wise more Caucasians in the United States than there is anyone. It's about 60%. You got maybe 18% Hispanic and about 17% African Americans, and the other rest of percent are of others. But if you look at percentage-wise, yes. But if there are a lot of more Caucasians living in poverty than there are anyone else combined. There's more of them living in poverty. Now, percentage-wise, if you look at the percentage-wise of how many people in there compared to that percentage is lower. But if you look at the number, just the totality of the number, there are more whites that are living in poverty than there are than any other race because there's more of them here.
But they're not the face of poverty.
They're not, because they don't want to make them the face of poverty. So those that can't take care of themselves, they fall into the same thing. Well, you're a people of color because we're not going to do that. But the fact of the matter is there's no humanity because we don't want to help people because they're saying, well, you should have helped yourself. But everybody didn't get the same, luck of the draw or the situation that you did. Education aside, we tell them, well, you should have got the education. Well, everybody don't get the same education that other people get. It's not equal, And so when you live in a society that's not equal, we've got white people now talking about they're taking our country away. Our country away?
We built the country.
I mean, it's not our country. It's our country. All of us. We're all Americans. We're all living in the United States. Let's care about each other. It'll be so amazing if we actually took the thought of Jesus Christ and cared for someone like Christ died for the church. He died for the sins of the world. He gave that we might live. Wouldn't it be awesome if people would just give so others could live?
It would
Instead
be
of
awesome.
one person being a billionaire and this person don't even get a buck.
What is it? The wealth is only 10%.
And it's 1% of wealth.
1%,
Yeah.
and we ain't even
Because
really
1% of the
included in
wealth
it.
controls almost 80% of the wealth in the world.
It's sad, but this is where we
I
are
believe
now.
that-
But
I believe
there,
that's the last thing I heard. That's the last thing I heard. LP always has information that will confirm or deny.
there's.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I was just saying what is it? UHC, Universal Health Care, applies to the poor, the meek, the humble, the rich, the people middle class. It does not just apply to the upper class of the world at 1%, we were saying.
Yeah.
It does not just apply to them. There's people out there that if they don't have insurance, and it shouldn't have to be that, oh, make this makeshift clinic up and not the best doctors and just give them something. No, it shouldn't be that. They should still get the best care too. But on the flip side, you have people who figure, well, I got mad, you should have got yours. I worked hard for this and I'm taking care of you. This is what the world is all about, to help one another.
You know, let's not just make it about not having insurance and stuff like that. There are some people who won't even help a person get a job. You know, a person needs a job, and yet you don't want to get, give them that job. Or I've been in companies. I've seen companies that I've been with where they tailored the job description for the person that they wanted, so other people couldn't get the job. We don't have the humanity of saying, hey, let's be fair about what we do here. There is no care for just being human and just realize it, because we was talking about the George Floyd thing. This man put his knee on his neck and did not look at this man as a human, to the point that he did not care that he took his life away. And I know you talked about that when I was running, but you've got these officers, huh?
We didn't talk.
We didn't talk about. You got these officers, going against this, and it's amazing that someone will sit there and say, "Oh, well, that's not why he died." Do we live in this fantasy world that we will lie to ourselves? To sit in the United States and to lie and say the United States is not racist, and they jumped on Michelle Obama for saying that the United States is racist. What we're trying to do is get rid of that racism. It's never going to go away, but it is there. But the humanity of it says, if we don't talk about it, or not the humanity, but the politics of it is that if we don't talk about it, then we can say that it doesn't exist. Maybe it'll just go away. The humanity of it is to say, to force, to discuss it, to bring it out in the open, to tell the truth about it, and let the truth set us free about what we should do about being human, of the fact that it's wrong for one color to have something more than another. We're human. I'm not black or African American. I'm a human being. I'm not Latino or Japanese or Indonesian, or I'm Asian. And what they're doing with the Asian people is just totally ridiculous now. All of a sudden now, because of Trump, it's ridiculous. And the humanity of what we have in this country is gone. And I think Trump was a big part of that. Here's the thing that really bothered me. I'm on my soappost. The Capitol. They stormed the Capitol. All these white people storm the Capitol. Nobody gets shot. One black guy who has a mental disease storms the Capitol. They shoot and kill him. Now, how do you explain that?
You don't.
Where they were beating on policemen. One policeman died and nobody gets hurt. The police that were there moved back and allowed them to do this.
Because he was a part of them, so.
But here's one black man just recently. He goes there, and he had some mental issues. He tried to hurt, a couple of policemen. He came at another policeman, and they shot and killed him. Why do we have a society like that? Where the humanity of saying this race can do one thing, this race can't do another. We've got to change that.
One thing that did change, that people hear me when I say this, Trump had one good thing that he did in the 4 years that he was in office. That one thing was he opened the eyes of America. A lot of people used to say, stay woke, but we just let stuff skirt past. We was like, oh, we got Obama. We moving on a progression. When I say Trump unleashed the devil and woke up some people, it's like I love the fact the marches, everything came forth. People are like, no, we're not going to take this anymore. Yes, this is the time for that. And like you were saying with the Lisa Ray thing we was talking about on a commercial, any little thing you could get fired. You know, you say this wrong, you do that wrong, but I say so be it. Yes, Betty Shabazz coming out. It's about bleep bleep time that these people pay for what they have said and done to black people, for Hispanic people, all people in the past. And if this is the case, is getting done this way by all means necessary. Malcolm, I am too loud, babe. All things, it's like, go have at it. Do what you need to do, because we waited too long for this. We see it. It is truly black and white. And people say, I don't see color. The world isn't black and white. Yes, it is. It's black and white. And unfortunately, if you're not the right for the complexion, not the right complexion or the right for the connection, then, you know, hey, you just SOL.
Let me say, what Trump did basically was he opened Pandora's box.
Oh, he
It's
did.
always been out there. He just used it to his advantage. That was his greatest gift, is that he's conniving to the point where he used to his advantage what he knew that would get him votes to win. He used prejudice and hatred as a way to win what he wanted to do. That's where that "Make America Great" came from. It's basically saying there is a supreme race here that should still be supreme. Let's open that Pandora box again and show that this is how it should be. And that is taking away from the humanity of who we are. We are the United States of America. We are united in our beliefs. We're not divided. The Bible, it says, not the Bible, it says, divided we stand, united we stand, divided we fall. United we stand. That's what it was supposed to be. But what he did was he used divided we'll fall. But he knew that fall would rise him up to where he wanted to be. Out of 16 Republicans that out there, he was not supposed to win at all. There was no question he was going to win. But he took a tack that he knew it would work. It was called racism.
I actually think President Trump was really inspiring.
You say what now?
I actually think President Trump was really inspiring because, you know, growing up, they always told me that anyone could be president. And I didn't think they meant that so literally.
And you thought...
Thank you. That was a punchline. We've gone 25 minutes without a joke. It was getting a little heavy.
You see, I was about to kick him under the table like, what the hell? I really was about to find your leg.
We've gone 25 minutes without a punchline.
Yeah, well, I'm like, wow. That one like, woo.
It
went
sure
over both
did.
of us,
I'm like,
boy.
what?
Yeah, it was getting a little heavy in there. So, speaking of going a little heavy, let's go to our music we're going to have, and then we'll come back and talk about it. Little Philip, I don't know what I got over there, so tell us what we're going to be playing.
You gotta give myself away. No, never mind. I played that already. Hold on.
What's in the crate?
Hold on. I put it here. I gotta find it.
So we can just be talking
while he's doing that?
While he's
I got it. It's Changing Your Story.
Changing Your Story by Jacqueline Carr.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how you say her name. I think that's.
I don't know. That's why I didn't try.
Yeah. Go ahead. Hey, this is Rick McCain along with my baby, my girl, my boo, Arthur Brenda McCain. I'm saying because I know how to say her name. She's one of my favorite singers.
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline. But we'll be right back after these songs commercial. Join us on Facebook.
What is going on?
So we're going to talk about the, I guess the what you call it.
Okay. Derek, I'm trying to see what's going on. Derek Chauvin's use of force was in no way, shape, or form proper, police chief testifies. Now, we all know the George Floyd case, court case is going on right now. And Derek, the person that shot and killed him, put his knee on his neck and killed him, was really believing that he got away with murder. But the chief over there, the chief of police, said it's no way, form, or fashion that we teach this to our policemen, that this is the way to get them. Now, he was already calming down. And so, since you already got him on the ground, calmed him down, he wasn't resisting. Why did you have to? Oh, he looks crazy. You had to go to that extreme. It's like he had an audience, and he went to that extreme to make sure that hey, I got an audience here. Let me apprehend him and get him down and do this, which was just wrong, just straight up wrong. And the thing that's getting me with this, Rick, is that his defense team is really trying to make it seem like he was in his right means to do that.
Well, I mean, the thing about it, I'm just glad your phone didn't break when it dropped. That's what I was concerned about. The thing that troubles me is that one, going back to the scenario, there were like 4 officers there. So if he was being so belligerent, 4 officers should have been able to hold him down.
Right.
But now one officer takes his I think they had him in handcuffs too, but they got him with his knee on his neck and stopping him from breathing, and people are telling him that this man is going to die from this, and he's not paying attention to it. What I did like was that all of the Minnesota police officers involved in that, the captain and people, the training and stuff like that, denounced what he did and said, this is not how we do things. We don't do things this way. This is the wrong way to do it. This is my fear with this scenario. My fear is that all hell will break loose if he comes out not guilty. Or they come with some lesser crime to this. This is murder in the first degree. There is no question about it. You had ample time to make the decision to get off of this person. They're going to say, well, first degree is that they premeditated, they thought about it in advance, and that's why they have the second degree murder, the second degree, because now it's not premeditated. It was just something that happened. I would like to see the first degree on them, because I believe that this person at that time was thinking, when he got him down there, I'm going to put my knee on his neck and subdue him. And premeditated doesn't mean that it has to have a time frame. And so my thinking is that it should be a first degree murder.
So first degree is life or something, and second
Well,
degree is like 25 years.
Yeah, first degree murder can carry a death sentence to it as well.
Well, here's the problem: is that if they try to pin him for first degree murder, which they can't, you can't prove that was premeditated. If they try to pin him for first degree murder and they fail, he goes off free. So what they're probably going to do, I haven't checked his charges, what they're probably going to do is they're probably going to try to get him for second degree murder, and I'd assume second degree manslaughter, because you can prove those. And then once he's in jail for those, you can then try to add more charges. This is why murder charges, they usually get lesser charges, because you can it's really hard to prove intent, right? So it's hard to prove that someone planned a murder.
It's not, it's hard, but it's not impossible. And so they can go back and see some kind of a history of this individual to say that he had his hatred toward African Americans could have been an intentional thing.
In the justice system that they are going to.
So this is the same person who was last year talking about all you got to do is prove it. Now he has no
because the thing that the last time thing you guys approved was a paper, right? Proving intent here is really difficult, and I have absolutely, if they go for him for first degree murder, there is almost a 0% chance.
Well, I will say this. I won't necessarily say a 0% chance, but I will say that is one of the reasons why they went back to bring second degree murder in there, because they felt that it might be a little bit hard to prove intent. But I believe that it's hard to prove intent with individuals there. I just think that there was an intent on this individual, even if it's for maybe 5 seconds, it came to his mind. He intended on killing this individual because he never decided at any time to let up. If anything, he moved his knee to make sure it was securely in a position where the person could not breathe.
The sad part about this, because this played out in front of a live audience, and that should be enough, because people videotaped this. They heard him asking, or telling him, I can't breathe. Everything played out perfectly for a defense to for the prosecutors to put this man away. But because, like Lil Phillip was saying, you really don't have faith in our justice system, which
No.
we should. It should be just a shut and close case. But right now it's like, why are we even still deliberating on this, talking about this? You seen the footage, you know what the man done, that you heard the saddest thing ever for him to cry out, the victim to cry out to his mother. You killed him. But yet it's like, well, he is a cop, he's a white cop, so we're gonna play this all the way out. We're gonna make sure, you know, that he get his proper justice due in court. But the guy is dead. He don't get a proper justice due in court.
So I will say this: one thing is the great thing that we have now is technology. Because without technology, this man might get away free.
Oh,
The
yeah.
justice system
Nobody's
has
saying
never
that.
been fair to African Americans. Go back to the days of Thurgood Marshall when he was fighting for for rights for African Americans. They literally wanted to kill Thurgood Marshall for defending African Americans for rights. When they wanted to go to votes, they were trying to kill African Americans of trying to vote, and then they made them sign a proxy saying that they'll give them the right to vote, but what they couldn't do with that vote. And Thurgood Marshall had to be moved from place to place just to protect people, and it was only because one judge, I think it was I may say the name of the place wrong. I think it was North Carolina, who decided to bring these civil rights things to Supreme Court in order to get some of these rights available to African Americans, that we were able to get some of the rights that we have now because of people not bowing down to the judgment of whites in the law system. So I agree with Lil Phillip on that. It's hard to trust a system that's never been there
10
for
seconds.
you. Huh?
10 seconds.
All right. So everybody ready to get on air? Let's talk a little bit about that real quick, and then maybe 5 minutes, then we'll go to the next subject.
And we are back. I also looked it up in case anyone was curious.
All right. So welcome back, everybody. Let's Stay Together Talk Show. Your host, Reverend Rick McCain, along with my baby, my girl, my boo, author Brenda McCain, Tracy Brown Howard, Social Distancing, LP Productions. We were talking about this. What's the guy's name again?
Derek Chauvin.
Derek Chauvin, and we were talking about some things. And LP, you got something you wanted to add to this?
His so I looked up what his actual charges were. He's charged with second-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter, which is what I expected.
Speak up.
I'm pretty sure that they will not be able to charge him with first-degree murder.
Well, if it's not on the
incapacity.
bracket, it's not gonna. They're not gonna be able to do it. If it's only second degree murder on
Now
there.
they doing reinstating the third degree murder.
Yeah, they put that in there because they wanted to put a lesser charge.
Yeah,
in
the
there
second
as
degree
well.
falls through, then
Yeah.
get him for third degree.
Because if you just have second degree murder and that's it, then you have nothing else to go with.
then it
Now
goes
the
away.
key thing is that still with those charges there, they're going through a jury, I think, but the judge himself can impose a higher charge to the person at any time that they want to. Not saying that's going to happen, but he does have the ability to do that. But we were talking about the George Floyd situation, and I still think that they should have tried him for first degree murder because I just think that the intent was there in what he did to him, and we're following this case. I'm just hoping that there's some heavy sentence to this individual because if not, there's going to be a lot of chaos that's going to come from this. I mean, there's no way that you could say that this man was not guilty for what he'd done. I mean, this tape has been sent not in all around the United States, all around the world.
Yeah.
And for him not to serve a substantial amount of time, I'm talking about 20 years plus life in prison. Then this is going to be a volatile situation is going to occur.
Yes, it is,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. Do they know how long they're still doing this?
I don't know how long the case is
trial
going on. The
gonna
trial is
be?
going on. I know this is about the 4th day or something like that, maybe even longer.
But if that outcome is not what we're hoping,
Yeah, not
A
what it
lot
should
of-
be. I mean, I don't have any hopes for anything. What it should
what
be.
it should be,
Yeah.
politically correct,
Yeah.
what it should be. A lot of states gonna be in the uproar. We gonna be back to tearing up stuff, messing up stuff. But it's like, can we just be fair with one another? It's just That just doesn't happen.
I mean, the judicial system, which has really not been for African Americans since African Americans had the right to vote or to do anything, it has not been fair to them. This will set it back some 50 years because it will still seem like. But right now, we're talking about the anniversary for the Tulsa massacre.
100 years.
100 years with that. You're gonna be setting that back almost 100 years if this person can get away with that. I think Cassie said day 7. Thank you, Cassie, for that.
It's
So
the
they're on
second week of this.
second week, day 7, the second week of it. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but it's something when they get to that verdict time. People are gonna be looking at this like they did OJ.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna
It's
really want to
like-
know what happens.
And
with
you're going to
that.
remember where you was at, because when you seen this man being murdered it's off of videos left and right last year, it's like, why are we even here at this trial right now? But because of the world the way it is, they're being fair for that. He needs a fair trial. Okay, but if we
I mean,
done it, it wouldn't be
you know,
that
you
way.
want a trial because that's the way the process should go.
Maximum sentence right now is 40 years.
40 years.
40
Okay.
years. 40 years in prison for second-degree murder, up to 25 years for third-degree murder, and 10 years for second-degree manslaughter.
Well, the only thing about the second degree murder, there is no death penalty. I don't agree with death penalties anyway, but I think that's one of the things that they're happy with because there's no death penalty.
And remember, those don't stack. So those sentences don't
Yeah,
stack. So
they
they
don't
get them
stack.
for all of them. You serve them concurrently. So
Yeah.
if you're serving 10 years and 40 years, then the 10 years just counts as the first 10 years of the 40 years.
Yeah. So I mean, it's it.
So he could go to jail and get a loophole in there.
If you can get there for 40 years, that's a long time.
That's a long.
But
That's
don't
long.
you get
It's like
time
30.
and a half, or that half you serving?
I mean, prison's supposed to be for rehabilitation. You're not just supposed to be locked up and have the key thrown away. So if he goes to jail and then comes out a better person, that's a win on my part.
Yeah, when that doesn't typically happen in prisons. And I've been in prison ministries for a while, so rehabilitation in prison ministry has been going a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, that's the hope. at
That's the
least.
hope. That is definitely the hope.
That's what the goal is.
Yeah, that is definitely the goal. I like that. You're absolutely correct on that. What we call him
LP
now?
Productions
Not
has
LP.
both.
What is his title now? Congressman.
Yeah, he Congress.
Congressman LP.
You will not catch me saying anything controversial into this microphone while we are on the internet.
That's my job. So let's go on to our next subject. What we got for Let's Talk About It, baby?
Let's talk about it. What do you need to let go of, Rick? What are you letting go of in 2021?
I'm going to let go of thirst. No, I saw this and it made me think about the things that people hold on to too long, or possessions or people or thoughts that we hold on to so long that it becomes a hindrance for us. And I think, I heard the pastor was speaking about this the last time, and they were talking about the example came from the woman, who was about to die, and the prophet asked her to bring to give them some food. So this is from the Elijah and the widow. It says sometime later a brook dried. Let me just go to the part. I'm just going to paraphrase this. So go to Elijah and the widow in the Bible, and basically what it was is she was about to die, and she was about to fix a meal for her and her son, and the prophet came to her and said, "Fix me a meal first, and then fix the meal for you and your son." And so now that looks like a selfish thought process that the prophet would ask the ladies, she didn't have nothing but a little oil left to make a meal for her and her son before they died. And then this prophet came over and said, but before you do that, make me something first and then make something for yourself. And that, it made me think, what are we willing to give up in order to be blessed for what we can receive? A lot of times we want to hold on to something. It's almost like when they give the talents, with the one man had 10, one had 7, and one had 10, one had 5, one had 1. And the man who had 1 decided he was buried into the ground because he thought the king was a ruthless king. Instead of taking that and using something with it, this lady here, most people be selfish and say, I'm not I'm not going to give you something first. I don't have anything for me and my son. And, this is our last meal. Why would I give it to you? But this woman was obedient and gave unto him first. And based on that, she was able to have food for long periods of time because she gave something away. And so it makes me think sometimes, what is it that we need to give away? Not what we're willing to give away. Because if it's willing to give it away, it's not a sacrifice. But what is it, some things, Brenda, that you feel that you or we need to give away in order to receive the blessing that God has for us?
A closed fist. That's what we need to give away, an analogy of not being selfish with everything. It's mine, mine, mine. And I got mine, because everybody have a little of that in them. I got mine. You have to get yours. If I have, let's just say, I'm going to use you, Mary, for example. I have a friend named Mary who I know she's in need of something. I have it, but I don't want to relinquish it because I'm attached to it. I have emotional relationship or whatever this is that I know she need. And I'm telling you, people, once you open that fist and release something, God always bless you and replenish you because you have replenished that person who was in need of it. Like you said, especially if, the selfishness of it all. I want, but she need. And you could get your want, and God will provide for her in you. So I think something to let go of is let go of being selfish, especially now during the pandemic. If you know a person needs something and they can't get to it, and you have the means to help them, and going back to them not having insurance and they have to pay out of pocket to go to the doctor. If you have that for them, and that's an ailing person, pay for their doctor visit or do something like that to that manner. And I do have friends that have been like that, very gracious, sweet friend. It's like, oh, I got it. They don't even have a second thought of doing it or expect anything back. But that's one of my things. Let go, open that fist up and give, and it'll be given back to you.
And in some cases, people, they hold on to things that they need to let go of out of fear. There's, a person in your life that that's not doing you right. And you're afraid to let that individual go because you're afraid of, being by yourself or being without that individual. And it might be in a situation where someone maybe even abusing an individual, and their fear of not having something. We hold on to things so much, we don't really, pay attention to the fact that we should, just wanted to make sure I didn't hit no echo. We should give things up, and we hold on to it so long that we feel that by holding it to ourselves, we will never lose what we have. But in some cases, God wants us to let go of it so he can bless us with something even greater. And use an analogy the pastor was talking about last week. The man gave the boy a quarter, and he said, give me back that quarter. And the little boy was saying, I just got the quarter. And the other kids who had went through this analogy before, understood that if you gave the quarter away, he was going to let you go into another place and get even more money. But the little boy didn't know. He said, I just got this. I'm not going to let it go. We will hold on to something because we'll feel, well, I don't want to go because I just got it, or what I have, I'm comfortable with it. Mm-hmm. We start getting comfortable with what we have, that we don't want to reach out and have faith and trust God that if we let go of something that should not be in our lives, that God would automatically bless us by having faith, faith of a mustard seed, to say, this is not something I need to hold on to because it's not going to benefit me as much as letting go and letting God do something for me, exceedingly abundantly more than I can ask or think. And so it came to my mind when I thought about this, and I was looking at another example with Luke 19, when they were talking about the coat that was tied up. And Jesus told them to go to this, this town, and there's a coat that has never been written. And I want you to tell them that, I have need of this. And so they went to talk to them. Now, this coat was probably used for the whole town,
Yeah.
you know, and all of a sudden now they come there and say, hey, you unloosen this coat, where you going? You know, Jesus has need of it. Now, these people had to have some kind of a understanding of what it meant for Jesus to have need of. And so if Jesus has need to bless you, then you need to know that there's some things you got to get rid of so you could receive the blessing. It could be selfishness, you know, it could be desire, sin, lust, greed, you know, riches. You know, the little boy who was rich, and Jesus, he said, you know, what do I have to do to receive the kingdom? He says, give up all you have. And the little boy walked away because he had a lot. What is it that you know that you need to get rid of, that you can move your life forward in Jesus' name? Not what you want to give up, because it's easy to give. If I had $1, because these two people didn't even want to bet $1 on something. If I had $1, I don't mind giving up $1. But if you ask me for $1,000, that might be like, oh, I don't know about that. But it makes it harder. But there's some things in your life that God is saying that you need to get rid of, that you're holding on to, that is hindering your growth and your blessings.
Okay, well, speaking of growth, it's some list of things. Some of the things I want to read off that are good things to give up. And one of those things are thinking you're not ready to launch, to start a new business, to go back to school, to go, you know, stream on a new church. You know, you devoted to your own church, but this is the time. If you have to church hop, check. You don't even have to miss your service because everything's streamed. Check it out, you know, later on in the day. Then you have breaking promises. It used to be your word is your bond. Stop breaking the promises and stuff. Trying to live up to other people's expectations of you, you will always fall short of that. So stop doing that. Get rid of that. Let that go. Constantly complaining. Rick will love that. Constantly complaining.
Yeah.
Let it go. I'm sure you'll say, let it go, Brenda, let it go.
Yeah.
Being overly self-critical. Ladies, we fall short on this. Always comparing yourself to the other lady, to the other woman, to the other girl. Now, one thing I know, if you're not living large in Hollywood, you are extremely beautiful just the way you are. Because you guys know I'm an advocate for women. Because Hollywood can make you, airbrush you into perfection.
Let it go.
And then you see them.
Let it go.
No, I'm saying
No,
let
I'm
it
telling
go
you to
them.
let it go.
Don't move me on. But
Okay.
I think somebody out there need to hear that. Let it go. These people are not real. It's all, you know, Hollywood glammed up. The biggest thing I think with me was selfishness and procrastinating. Let procrastination go. If you say you're going to do something, stay focused and do it.
Well, you know, and I think, you know, I'm looking at something a little bit bigger, because I think a lot of times, you know, some of the things that, you know, like procrastination or what other people think about you, that can be a hindrance on you. But it's what you do to yourself or you allow to happen to yourself that is something that we need to let go of. The lady who made the decision that she would give the prophet food first let go of selfishness, anger, resentment. You know, who the heck are you coming to me and saying I'll give you something first? She acknowledged
who they are.
she acknowledged that this man must have been someone that could provide something. So have wisdom on why are you letting go of this? There are people in your life that only supposed to be there for a season, but you still have them there, and that is hindering you. And I'm not talking about marriage. I mean, I don't believe in divorce, but there are some people in your relationship that are hindering you, and that you know you might need to separate from, because they're not helping you at all. They're breaking you down. They're tearing you down. They're calling you names. They're putting you down. That's not a marriage. Okay, and you may have to step away from that for a season. There are friends that you may have to step away from for a season. There's your own mentality that you may have to re-examine to find out why do I do this to myself? Why am I acting this way? Why don't I move forward in Christ? And so we need to do, I like that song, if you look into your heart with a positive mind, take self-inventory. It says of your woman, but in your person and your glory, because God has placed glory in you. And you've got to see that glory. And if that glory is not shining the way God wants it to be, then you need to step back and see what is penetrating making my glory dull. What is it that I'm allowing to be there? I've got to let something go. I was pointing to you because you remember that at the time you got to grab my phone. But we've got to find out what are we allowing to dull our glory that God has put in us. And be able to see that and recognize it, no matter how valuable we think it might be, we have to find a way to let it go. That's not that hard to take off, by the way. But I am paying attention to what I'm saying. But I'm looking at you scraping at the microphone too. So, we've got to be able to do that and not, I agree with it, not allow people to hinder us. But the greatest hindrance that we have sometimes is ourselves. What we absorb, what we bring into our lives.
What do you need to let go?
What do I need to let go of? I think I need to let go. What I let go of at one time was just worry, being concerned about things too much. Even though, Christian believers, stuff, I would always want to make sure that something was okay. And, you have to let go and let God, and I look at, the situation where, just recently something in the house and I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work. I'm hoping this is going to work. And I'm keeping an eye, but I'm like, you got to let go and let God. And God has just opened my mind with so many things of just saying, hey, God has done so many great things and, that are just small in comparison to what could be, considered in the world. But it's amazing to me how everything is just opened up to a point where he's showing me how these little small things could be so impactful in my life if I just let go of being worried or concerned about how it's going to happen and just trust in him. And even as a preacher and a pastor, sometimes we worry about things, because I can tell you there's a lot of pastors right now worried about if people are going to come back to their church when the pandemic is over. And so we just got to know when to let things go and just say, this is in God's hands.
I want to use an analogy real quick. That's
Real quick.
different. About 5 or 6 years ago, it was purging time like now, made to change closets over. I remember telling a friend I couldn't let go of designer suits because I thought they defined me of my past, or when I thought the world was so great in the corporate America, and I couldn't fit them, couldn't wear them. And I remember you said, let it go, give them to the Salvation Army, or, donate them. I did not want to do that at all. But when I finally, which it took me 2 years after that incident to do that, God opened up a world of stuff for me, because he knew then I want her to trust me. She's thinking that this will define her and keep her that way, which it wasn't. But we hold on to selfishness and everything. That's my point. So it's like in Mary Silla's thing, she said, in my Elsa singing voice, let it go, which I don't know who Elsa is. Let it go. Who's
Elsa is from
Frozen.
Frozen.
I never seen Frozen.
Okay, that's fine.
That's
so
why.
just want to say, closing up, because we're going to have Stephen Best coming in a second. There's some things in your life that you need to let go so God can let the glory that he's placed in you to shine. So please make sure that you let that go. I don't know if you got Stephen on the line already.
If not.
Okay, so Stephen, make sure you give us a call. Hopefully the Ring Central is up over there, so he can call.
Do I need to unlock your phone?
No, not my phone. You got to go to Ring Central. Put down 0922. On the phone, put down 0922. And see if Ring Central is up.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was asking you. Do
Yeah.
I have to unlock your phone to go through?
Is it Ring Central app up?
Yep.
Okay, so Stephen, give us a call so we can get in to talk to you.
In the meantime, before he
Nope, he's here.
called-
I just heard him, yeah.
Okay, about to say birthday guy.
All right, so we've got Stephen on the line now. Stephen, are you there? Hello, Stephen. Is he there? Did you push the
He's
mute button off?
here.
Did you put the mute button off over there?
Which line is it?
Look where it says phone.
You don't have. Oh, you do have. Okay.
Just look at the button. That says, yeah.
Okay.
Stephen, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Yes,
can hear you now.
perfectly.
Yeah, we're good.
I'm still stunned that Brenda doesn't know who Queen Elsa is from Frozen.
You could
$1
tell.
billion plus dollars in box office. That song that won the Academy Award and sent every 5-year-old child over the moon. And Brenda has no idea. I'm stunned.
And don't be. I haven't seen Frozen. I'm like, who's Elsa?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mary.
She's more into other shows than that. Elsa's. Frozen was an excellent cartoon too.
It's a cartoon. Okay.
Yeah. So we've got Stephen Best here with us again. Stephen Best is our best of theater who scours the world to find out tidbits for us around the theater world and also some things about what's going around the United States and Chicago. But I've got to give Stephen this. What are you going to say, Brandon?
No, go ahead.
I've got to give Stephen this. I've got to give him an opportunity before he does anything else to say something about Beyonce last week that we didn't get an opportunity to say. So, Stephen, since I don't want you to feel like I canceled the show just because of Beyonce, which I would never do because B is who she is, talk a little bit about last week what we forgot about with Beyonce.
Well, I will be honest with you. I was going to say that to the end, but I can start with it. No problem.
Well, save it for the
We
end.
are,
She can be the end.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Saving the best for last, of course.
All right.
Well, let me start with some new information that literally just came in my inbox about 6 o'clock tonight. And it is here in Chicago. The Chicago Loop Alliance is eyeing a move to close State Street in the Loop for 12 Sundays this summer. Now, the reason for this is they want to drive foot traffic and bring Chicagoans back to the heart of downtown, to the retail-heavy State Street, and also have possible tours of the 3 Broadway and Chicago theaters, as well as the Chicago Theater, all within a few block radius of the Chicago Loop.
Wow.
Now, again, this was an area hit hard by COVID as well as the civil unrest and rioting last summer. So this is an idea and a proposal. They are wanting to close from Lake to Madison on State Street and highlight local art and culture. Again, this is a couple blocks off from the Chicago Art Institute, so no word whether the Chicago Art Institute is participating in this or not. But if they're highlighting local artists and culture, you know that means the Chicago theatrical community, so I can't imagine there won't be some of our favorites out singing or possibly doing some performance art. The Chicago Loop Alliance CEO, Michael Edwards, said they are still working out the details. This is not a done deal yet, but this would be huge for this summer. And, of course, it would be for Chicagoans of all ages from June to September. Now, for those familiar with Chicago and for those who are not, every summer here in the city, each weekend, there's no less than 3 to 5 festivals happening all weekends long. Well, because of COVID, some of the earliest festivals have canceled. I mean, truly on their website have said, see you in 2022, and that is it. So this would be a major move to bring some public art and, of course, large groups down to the Loop. Now, no word if this means Lollapalooza is coming back or not, because, of course, Lollapalooza is normally a 5-day concert that is in Grant Park, again, just a few blocks from State Street. But I thought this was really unique. They've never done this before. A few blocks south of this, and in my neighborhood, there's normally a Printers Row Literary Festival, and that has now been canceled for the second year in a row. That is one of the first festivals that kicks off this summer. But anywho, Chicago is looking to bring back live entertainment. We keep hearing fall. This would be the first one that would happen over the summer. And speaking of bringing back entertainment, I don't know if you guys saw or not, but Broadway reopened last week for exactly 36 minutes before a mass, socially distanced, and virus-tested audience of just 150. Dancer and choreographer Savion Glover and actor and comedian Nathan Lane performed a two-man show. They took the stage individually. They were not on the stage together, celebrating theater, and they were also testing these audience safety protocols. And then they brought out some really unique statistics, including it has been 387 days after Broadway went dark. This was the first performance on The Great White Way. Two performers, both previous Tony Award winners, returned to the stage for one afternoon only. Again, there were 150 audience members scattered across the 1,700-seat theater. So they definitely had social distancing going on in the audience. This is the first such experiment that Broadway is going to be doing this summer. And it's since the coronavirus truly closed all 41 Broadway houses in New York. This was the first time back. And I mean, from the reviews that I was not there personally, but from the reviews I have read, it was a magical afternoon. Nathan Lane was quoted as saying, "These are just baby steps towards a real reopening, and it's a way of signaling to everyone in the world that we are coming back." So I think that's very hopeful and very exciting. And along the same lines, the first new musical in New York has confirmed a official opening date, and it is the Diana the Musical at the Longacre Theater. This is the musical based, of course, on Princess Diana. Now, this has already been recorded and will stream this year in October on Netflix. And then the live musical, it's going to have in-person previews starting December 1st and will officially open December 16th. So this will be the first new Broadway musical opening just in time for the holiday season, of course, pending government approval. So that's very exciting. It looks like New York is, again, taking baby steps to come back. Now, I was joking earlier about us being in award season. Well, the Drama League Award just announced their 2021 nominees. And the reason I want to bring this up is because Steppenwolf, Duchess, which just started streaming last month, is a nominee. The organization is going to honor digital theater and audio plays this year. Steppenwolf, Duchess, based loosely on the Meghan Markle story, is one of the nominees in the 87th annual ceremony. Again, it's going to be a digital ceremony on May 21st will be the live stream. So good luck to Steppenwolf and everybody involved with Duchess. If you haven't seen it yet, it is still streaming on Steppenwolf's website. That's steppenwolf.org. The tickets are $65 for the season. Duchess is the fourth of 6 shows. So if you haven't checked it out, it's a really compelling drama. Something else to check out online is the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater is doing an encore virtual showing of the Blues Suite 63rd anniversary. It is airing on the Alvin Ailey website and on their YouTube channel through April 13th. I was going to talk about this last week. You still have another week in which to catch this encore virtual showing, and it is complimentary. However, if you would like to make a contribution to help them keep dancing, it's www.alvinailey.org/performance, or you can go to the Alvin Ailey YouTube channel. Okay, now it's awards.
I'm sorry, Stephen. We don't have enough time. I'm sorry. We got to go. Go ahead.
Go ahead, birthday guy.
Beyonce was not at the SAG Awards, so I'm going to start with those. But there were some. All I'm going to talk about is the records that were broken. The Screen Actors Guild Awards this year was 100% virtual. There was no host, and they actually did the entire show in 1 hour. Some highlights: outstanding performance by a female actor went to Viola Davis from Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and outstanding performance by a male actor went to Chadwick Boseman for the same film, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And this has now put both of them on the front runner to win the Academy Award, the Oscar, the Oscars closeout award season, and that's going to air Sunday, April 25th. Chadwick Boseman's pretty a lock for Best Actor. Viola Davis is coming on strong in the end. She has not won through all the other award shows, but the Screen Actors Guild are the same people who vote for the Academy Awards. So this has sort of raised Viola Davis's, who already has an Oscar for Fences in the supporting category. This would be her first in the lead category. For television, The Crown won Best Television Ensemble Drama, and my personal favorite, Schitt's Creek, won TV Ensemble Comedy. And I would like to point out that Catherine O'Hara has become the fourth person ever to sweep all 5 major television prize categories in a single season for her wonderfully wacky matriarch, Moira Rose from Schitt's Creek. She won the Emmy, the Golden Globe, the Screen Actors Guild Award, the Television Critics Association Award. And the reason I want to point that one out is that isn't for individual achievement in comedy. That is a genderless award. So truly, you can count on one hand, not to sound sexist, but truly you can count on one hand the amount of women who have won that award. So this is extraordinarily prestigious for Catherine O'Hara, who just is so divine on Schitt's Creek. And then, of course, she won the Critics' Choice Award as well. The other 3 women the other 3 performers who have also swept all happen to be women. Sarah Paulson, when she played Marcia Clark in The People vs. O.J. Simpson, Michelle Williams for Fosse Verdon, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge for the Amazon comedy Fleabag. Okay, now I'm going to talk about Beyonce. Over the last couple weeks, we have had the 2021 NAACP Awards. It was the 52nd annual event, as well as the 63rd annual Grammy Awards. Let's talk really quick about the NAACP Awards first. Beyonce took home 4 awards. There were actually over 60 categories, so it's impossible for them to have televised all 60 categories, so most of these were announced on press release, and Beyonce herself was not in attendance. But she took home 4 awards that night, which now makes her the most awarded person ever, male or female, at the NAACP Awards. So I'm sure Rick just fell out of his chair.
Yes.
But Beyonce has more NAACP awards than anyone else. Now, some news that has nothing to do with Beyonce. On the same night, Eddie Murphy was inducted into the NAACP Hall of Fame. The first ever Social Justice Impact Award was given to Stacey Abrams for all of her voting rights activism in Georgia, and it was presented to her by Michelle Obama. So that was a very exciting moment. And Entertainer of the Year went to disc jockey, rapper, producer D-Nice. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I had to Google him because I am not familiar with D-Nice, but it ended up he had a big event during the COVID-19 pandemic. It was a social media called Homeschool at Club Quarantine on Instagram Live. I was not the demographic audience for that, but kudos to him for winning Entertainer of the Year. And LeBron James was given the President's Award. And then Brenda, you and Rick both know I post a lot of celebrity red carpet fashion on my social media pages.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, she has not won anything this award season other than consistently being the absolute best dressed. But Regina King and that rough color Oscar de la Renta with that dramatic bow and cape, Regina King may not be taking home the awards, but she is winning every single red carpet she steps a foot on. And then lastly, the Grammy Awards. I know this was about 2.5 weeks ago. Megan Thee Stallion was awarded Best New Artist.
Wait a minute.
Beyonce
What did you say her name was?
Megan Thee Stallion.
Okay. I want to make sure you said that right. I'm like, what was her name again? Okay, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, Megan Thee Stallion was awarded Best New Artist. She also won a Grammy with Beyonce. I don't mean to belabor that. And then Blue Ivy, at 9 years old, Blue Ivy Carter, who is Beyonce and Jay-Z Carter's daughter, won a Grammy for her contributions to the song Brown Skin, making her the second youngest Grammy winner in Grammy history.
Well, so, that's what you call nepotism, I guess.
Oh, well, I mean, without question. But truly, sincerely, it was an amazing night for women. Beyonce and Megan Thee Stallion were the first pair of women to ever win in the Best Rap Performance category for the song Savage. Taylor Swift took home Album of the Year for her album Folklore, and she is now the first woman to ever take Album of the Year 3 times. Billie Eilish won for Record of the Year, for Everything I Wanted. Song of the Year went to her with the politically themed I Can't Breathe. So it was truly a night of really fantastic and fabulous female artists finally getting their due. And then to loop it all back to theater, the Best Musical Theater Album Grammy went to the cast of Jagged Little Pill, which actually some of the actors are here from Chicago. So that night I was posting and texting and messaging, and we were all screaming and just so excited. I truly love award season, and I am enjoying it so much more because I actually personally know people who are winning Grammys. I mean, it's crazy, but it's so exciting.
So, Stephen, we're now.
And that, I know I ran over my time.
Yeah, you
I
did.
know
I'm gonna send you a bill.
lot to talk about.
I'm gonna send you a bill for that. So, but I'm gonna say
And
this.
I'll be happy to pay it.
I will say this. I can't believe that somehow or another the NAACP has awarded Beyonce more than anyone else, with all the great singers that we've had in our history. That Beyonce would be the
And
most
that's all the time we
awarded
have.
person.
So
that makes absolutely no sense. Are you a Beyonce fan?
no, I just I don't want you to get canceled.
I mean, so beyond saying beyond. I mean, to be honest, I just with all of the great singers that we've had in African American history, Beyonce has won the more awards than anyone. That does seem a little.
She resonate with more people. That's
just,
what it was.
maybe they just wasn't giving awards back then. But Stephen, hey, thank you very much for your time. And I'm gonna talk to Brenda, but I might want to get together so we can get together soon, if not this week, next week, and about coming out and taking you out for your birthday. Have you get your shot, didn't you?
I've got the first shot, yes.
Okay.
My second shot is the month.
Okay.
Now, hold on. I say one more thing about Beyonce. And I promise you, I'm not saying this to rub you the wrong way. I think one of the many reasons that she has won so many is they also include the awards that she won with Destiny's Child. So she was in that girl group for 10 years. Of course, she also has her very exciting and dynamic solo singing career. That she also is an actress and has appeared in film. And then with this last album was a virtual album that was more, and this is what she won the Grammys for. People were surprised she took the Grammys when she didn't actually drop an album, but she dropped that visual album on Disney Plus that I thought was outstanding.
Yeah.
So she's a very smart woman that she keeps evolving her career, and so that she keeps receiving the accolades because she keeps changing with the times.
Yeah, well, we got to go, Stephen, because we got a couple more things we want to add on to the show here. But I will say this.
Okay, no problem.
It's a great, we had a great opportunity allowing you to do sponsoring for Beyonce. And we appreciate you doing that during this period of time. But hey, once again, thank you very much for always sharing some great tidbits about the theater world and also the other world and the world of Beyonce. So we'll talk to you next Tuesday around about 8 o'clock, okay?
That sounds wonderful. Thank you. We're all members of the Beehive.
Yeah. I'll talk to you later. All right, everybody. Thanks, Stephen, again with the information, the best of theater. Stephen covers our theater world for us, and so we appreciate him doing that. So, baby, let's go to. Did you just turn me down?
Yeah, so that we don't. So we don't.
Because I'm like, wow, let's do Club 50 real quick, and then we'll go into the.
So we don't take it
relationship
off.
letter.
There's feedback.
Okay.
Hey, Golden Divas.
Hey, hello. I was just gonna say, hey.
Last month was Women's History Month, and I showcased some beautiful women, highlighted them. It was a little different this year. If you get a chance, check it out at theclub50.com. Now, kicking off the month of April, I have a beautiful young lady by the name of Maria Daniels, who is the author of a children's book, and the book that she have out there is the cutest little thing. If you have a little person out there, you need to get this book. The book is called Good Dreams, Good Things, by author and fellow classmate of Percy L. Julian, Maria Daniels. You need to check her out, and when I post tomorrow on club50.com and read her story and her journey of how she was a teacher and became an author. So check it out. You will enjoy this.
Hey, before we go on, I was reading some of the comments of this. Sheldon is saying that she deserves the awards. One of the things he did say that I totally agree with, she's more of an entertainer than an actual singer. That is 100% correct. She is definitely an entertainer. She's one of those entertainers that I worry about, though, will be able to evolve with time because, like the Janet Jacksons and the, what's that girl? I can't think of her name.
Let me see. Whitney evolved. Janet.
I'm thinking of the girl. I can't think of her name, but the people that just need to evolve. You can't sing
Britney
those young Britney Spears. You can't just sing those 20-year-old songs. You got to evolve.
That pop music.
And I think Whitney was a person that was able to evolve, and hopefully Beyonce is going to be able to do that with it because if she's just more of an entertainer, then you're going to have to find a way to do a mature entertainment. Which is going to be hard. Hey, we still got a few minutes before we go to the relationship letter. I want to say I'm giving out tickets to Mandela: The Struggle for Freedom. All I'm asking you to do is say, I want Mandela tickets, and I'll give you away the tickets. These tickets are for Mandela to see an exhibit for Mandela, talking about South Africa anti-apartheid movement. It's a wonderful thing that the Eleanor Holocaust Museum is doing. You can find out more information at i-lholocaustmuseum.org, or you can just tell us right now, I want Mandela tickets. The first 5 people to send that out to us, we'll make sure we'll email you some tickets so you can go see the exhibit for free. It is an exhilarating, excellent place the Holocaust Museum is doing, and you definitely don't want to miss this information about Mandela, who went from prisoner to president. So, baby, what do we have for our relationship letter?
I have. Dear LSTT, I was watching a program over the weekend that really resonated with me. It got me to thinking about my tribe and if we were making a difference in our lives and other people's lives. There is so much chaos going on in the world that it is easy to just stay to yourselves, sheltered in and away from society. However, that is not what the Lord would want from us as Christians. LSTT, during these trying times, what are some things that we can do to make a difference in our lives and others? Sincerely, are you making a difference?
Yeah, so I'm kind of missing this letter. So did she say my tribe?
Yeah, women consider whoever's in your circle of friends. You call them your tribe. That's a new thing now.
Okay.
Do you have a good tribe of friends that's
So
inspiring
what is she
you?
basically asking again?
What difference are we making during the pandemic?
Oh, is she asking just as a general question?
To us.
So that's a relationship letter.
We in a relationship.
What difference am I making for the pandemic?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm going to switch it over to you. What difference are you making during the pandemic?
Every Tuesday night, our difference is still rolling and going with this to get relevant information out there to people to keep them abreast of what's going on. I think we're still making a prominent difference to everything.
The prominent difference I'm doing is following the scientists and what they're telling you to do. Still wearing a mask, even though I've got vaccinated. Being respectful to people by wearing the mask, not going to a Texas Ranger baseball game where 36,000 people are at a game because the Texas governor decides to take away 100% of guidelines and let people just do what they want to. Now you're probably going to have a pandemic coming from Texas because most of the people didn't have on their mask or took them off. So I'm following guidelines. So my thing that I'm doing for the pandemic is, giving people knowledge and information about it, but also following the guidelines and having the reassurance that taking the vaccination is something that I need to do.
Yeah, and a lot of people I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. And then some people who found out today that didn't wear a mask, didn't believe in it, ended up catching COVID. And it's like, I bet you're a believer now. So I'm saying the difference that we all making and the stance that we're making is to keep you alive. I'm doing what I need to do in order for you to stay healthy.
Yeah, and I just think that some people are not, they want to take this thing as though it's not important, that during this pandemic, the greatest thing you can do during the pandemic is follow, the suggestions that are given to you by the scientists. I am so sick and tired of these politicians making this a political thing where they're trying to follow an idiot by the name of Donald Trump and saying, we don't need to take this. and people are dying left and right. I mean, it goes back to humanity again. We don't care about each other until I don't care until someone I know dies. Then I care. But then if nobody dies that I know, then I don't care. And there's been people that even said, I know some people that died, but I still don't believe that this is true. I think that they're falsifying the numbers and trying to scare us. People, I don't, if 500,000 haven't died, say 250, that's still too many deaths. And so I think what we need to do in this pandemic is just have some humanity and care about other people. Do what is right during the pandemic. Help somebody, love somebody, care for somebody, but follow the guidelines so we all can get out of this. We're trying to push this pandemic away, acting like it's not here anymore. And the pandemic is almost like that old saying, does a tree make any sound if nobody's out there? Yes, it does. And this pandemic is saying, I'm still going to get people sick. I'm still going to kill people, even though you don't believe that I'm here. And so we need to recognize that it's still here and follow the guidelines.
Please follow the guidelines. So are you making a difference? I hope you are listening. Our biggest thing that we could contribute is follow the guidelines.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference you could make during this pandemic, is follow the rules so we all could stay alive.
So Sheldon says, is the letter writer looking for an outlet for engagements during the pandemic?
I am not sure.
I mean-
Ooh, that's a lot. What's this?
I mean, what?
Oh, this is the plot
Okay.
of Frozen.
Oh, I'm like,
Oh, that's Stephen writing something about that. But I don't know if the person is looking for engagements. There's, whatever engagement that you might be looking for, you still need to follow the guidelines. And that is something that we're not doing as well. Hey, we got through the show. All right. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. No problems or anything like that. And it's great that we've got through the show. Any last words before you got that last song set up, Mr. LP?
Yeah.
So you got any last words you want to add before we
again, I want to say thank you, and we're so grateful that the show went off without a hitch.
Yeah.
Again, happy birthday, Stephen Best. You are the best. I hope you had a great day. Prayers again are going out to the Brown family. You guys are in our prayers and in our heart.
Yeah, and also I'm praying for UPS to deliver my package.
Everything straight?
Yeah, I get one UPS person come pick me up in not a UPS truck, but he gave me a UPS sticker. Then all of a sudden, an hour later, a UPS guy comes in a UPS truck saying, I'm coming to pick a package up. So that little freaked you out a little bit, but he said it was okay. So at least I know the package is on the way. So I'm praying for that the package is on its way and I don't have to worry about that. And I'm thankful for people listening to the show. We apologize again for last week. We didn't get things going, but I'm going to end this up with this song. I think the last song should be Aretha Franklin, Say a Little Prayer for You. And so we're going to leave out saying a little prayer for you. We're praying that you're going to be safe and that you will follow the guidelines of this pandemic and care and have some humanity for other people. Hey, this is Rick McCain along with my baby, my girl, my boo, Arthur Ben McCain, Tracy Brown Howard, Social Distancing, and LP Productions on the board helping a brother out. LP, go ahead and do that song, and we'll see you next Tuesday at 6:30. Woo!